Hey, Almudron!
Now what is it, sir?
I want to wear your skin.
Excuse me?
Yeah, I want to wear your skin. I love you so much.
So let me just get this right, you creepy man. Because you're a big fan of me, you want to kill me, carve away pieces of my body, and then adorn yourself in them in some grim homage.
Well, yes, but not in a weird way. Okay, but seriously, guys. Monster Hunter armor. It is, well, why we do what we do. Well, perhaps second to the pure experience of hunting a thing, but come on, it is core. The endless, beautiful cycle of slaying something badass to wear its badass skin in order to power you up to the point you can slay something even more badass to wear even more badass skin in some weird cycle of murder badassery to the end of time! And I would not change it for the world. And when it comes to Rise, well, the armor is looking so beautiful. And I thought it would be quite fun to go through every new Rise monster's armor and see which one is simply the best. Because I'll be honest, much how like I feel that the new Rise roster of monsters is on the whole the highest quality new roster of monsters we've ever gotten, I think the armor almost is the best new selection of monster armor we've ever gotten. Not quite the best, I think it's second place to World and Iceborne, as despite bits on sticks, it really knocked it out the park with its original armor set. But still, Rise is bringing it too. So, 9 monsters, 9 new sets. Let's go from my least favorite to my favorite. So in 9th place...
Seriously? Seriously, really? You'll give the weakest monster the worst armor? That's just fantastic, isn't it, boys?
Look, Izuchi, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it is a fairly plain set. It's a very good early game plain set, but like, now it ain't no cowboy from the Great Rog now, is it? But that aside, I do really like the aesthetic of it. I like the tufts of fur, I like how it's constructed, I think the kind of scarfy thing's cool, kind of gives me a little bit Cthulhu vibes, the colours really work, it's just, you know, it doesn't leap out at you. Though I will admit that on account of the eye patch adorning the male helmet, and the piracy that it would imply, that I can't help but have a soft spot for it, because anything slightly related to classic bitter piracy is something that I can rightly get behind. So, that is the main draw for me. It really, really is. So, 8th place then is...
Tetranadon, really? Come on, man, you just discriminate in those early reveals.
Look, I can't deny that I just generally, there are exceptions of course, but generally don't like the bulkiest of armor. These Tetranadon shoulders, my word. And also the fact it looks like a kind of trooper look, that is something I imagine will be striking to a lot of people, but isn't something I kind of really vibe with, though I will admit that just objectively it's a very cool design. It's very different from armor we've seen before, and the fact that it's got little trimmings made out of essentially kind of moss and grass and river stuff. Yep, river stuff. We're talking river stuff. Is really nice. The little blue gems, the fact that the shoulders also look like turtle shells. There really is a lot to like here design-wise, so objectively really good, but personally for me, Next up then,
Magnamalo, I'll kill ye!
Look, I know, putting the flagship this high up, but it's cool. It is cool, and I'll admit, the main reason Magnamalo is not last, I know, is because of his extra cool amiibo cosmetic layered armor that you can get for him, which just looks absolutely, utterly incredible. I mean, seriously, the Palico Palamu, but his actual armor, it's just not an aesthetic that I really care for too much, you know, the samurai look. It is cool, and I get why a lot of people like it, but it's not for me. That said, I would still rather wear it than the previous 2 entries, so of course that's why it's here, and the purple and blacks look absolutely beautiful with the golds and reds, and that is something I can really get behind. It is, objectively, a beautifully designed armor set, but one that unless it's probably, it'll be amazing. It's the flagship item. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to be wearing it constantly, aren't I? Now that I've said this. Oh, next up then.
I still just like fruit.
Good for you, Bishaten. Good for you. In any case, this armor is really charming. I mean, it very much has that raw jungle aesthetic, the feathered adornments everywhere. Honestly, it kind of looks a little bit Izuchi, just really enhanced, and for whatever reason it has a conch shell on the back, and that's just a really, really good touch, so no matter where you are, you can hear the ocean. I think the colours are great, I love the almost Aztec-y aesthetic of it, I think it just matches fantastically to Bishaten, and who doesn't want a tiny horn coming off of their forehead? I know I do! And I think the Palamute helmet is probably one of the best Palamute helmets just going full stop. I really like that. Even if I think the Palico one is, kinda bad. In any case, next up is...
Well, at least I've beaten that fruit monkey.
Somnacanth! This is just lovely. I mean, really. The raggedy purple cloth mixed with this kind of goldy, coppery, bronzy plates, and then the nice sheen of more silvery metal in the middle, with just the lovely tealy blue glowing through it. It's a really striking armor set. It carries this almost like Empress aesthetic, and really just works. There's just something alluring about it, which, let's be honest, is fantastic, because the whole point of Somnacanth is that she acts like a siren and lures people to her before mercilessly killing them. The Palamute looks solid, and the Palico looks kind of like a Somnacanth witch with a wand, and I think that is utterly charming. There really is just something mystical, magical, a bit raggedy, yet somehow regal, and it just works. Next!
Well, I really didn't expect this!
What can I say? While I may not be the biggest fan of the samurai aesthetic, I am a huge fan of the knight aesthetic, and our friend Aknosom has got that in absolute spades. A stalwart, shining, plated warrior, sword at hip, lovely visored helmet to come down, adorned with a plumage and a lovely orange and reds of Aknosom. It really is just a mighty noble warrior striding forth into honorable combat, and yeah, I can't help it, that fantasy just gets me, and it is executed absolutely beautifully here. It really is. Even just the ring of feathers making like a border around the shoulders, neck area with this lovely flower plumage, chest crest type deal, it just works absolutely spot on. And then having a Palamute that's your lovely steed, and then a Palico that's your helpful squire, it really is just a trinity of armor sets that I think works perfectly. It's a shame that undoubtedly Aknosom armor probably won't be very good because it's an early game monster, but in the world of layered armor, which fingers crossed there's no reason to believe that wouldn't carry over, it is likely going to get used a fair bit. Love it! Next then, we have...
Well, now, this is very nice. Third place for 3 Arachnoids. I'll take it! And I'll take you to my lair and drink your blood!
So, what can I say about Rachna's armor? It's just very striking. Weirdly, again, a sort of almost wedding aesthetic, which perhaps might lead to a spot of legal trouble for Rachna.
I don't care what you say. I'm going to sue her so hard.
Yeah, it is a little bit Valhazaki, but I also think it is very much better than Valhazaki. It just looks, I mean, it's a pretty armor set, right? They've managed to make spider silk work as this fancy cloth motifs across this lovely deep purple metal, even the roses on the chest. I mean, her weapons, of course, are looking fantastic. And again, the weapons in all of them I could mention are just on the most part looking really good. But I think the armor does definitely steal the show. The little bit of glow points, again, kind of Valhazaki, but I really do love it. The spider spines sticking out all over the shop, and really, I think it's a strong contender for layered armor once we get to the actual game. It definitely is an armor armor set that I think is wonderfully, wonderfully done. The Palamute looking just like a little spider dog draped in the silk is wonderful, but then the Palico. I mean, it's just literally Archbishop Palico with a full-on just book to smack you with. It's just wonderful. It really is. Next up.
Oh, damn it, I was so damn close. Ah!
Look, first and second for me are interchangeable. I think they're both absolutely amazing, amazing sets. The real kind of difference for me is that with Goss Harag, I prefer the male set, and given I'll be playing a female hunter, that doesn't really help me. And with our number 1, I prefer the female set, and given I'll be playing a female hunter, that does help me. So, Goss Harag then. Just big, meaty, Frost Warrior. I mean, it's just greatsword the armor set to me. It really is, and I can't help but love that. I know back with Tetra I said the chunkier armor sets I don't generally like. Well, this is one of the few exceptions. It really is kind of Frost Demon Barbarian. The thick furs, the spikes everywhere, the heavy belt, the chest plates just proudly there, the boots stomping away, the ridges on the shoulder, the demonic mask look, and then even the greatsword too to go with it, just hugely chunky, a handle that's almost the size of other whole weapons, and this big frosty blade, the fact that he can go red and the weapon indeed does change colour to red to match it, it's just fantastic. It is savage, it is brutal, it just has this power about it, and given I've spent a lot of hours staring at it in the demo, I can't help but admit that it is imprinted on me, and I really find it just utterly fantastic. First place, then.
Oh, I see. You really did want to wear my skin. Oh, no.
Almudron, a monster that I think might genuinely break into my top 5 once I fought it, and is at minimum in my top 10 just seeing it. His armor is ludicrous. It has no business coming from Almudron. It looks like a robot insect warrior. Why this is Almudron, I really don't know, but I absolutely adore it. The male one is definitely cool. I will admit on both sets, the big chunky gloves are probably my least favorite, though the female ones definitely do look better. The male helmet looks a little bit kinda I just something off about it, but that's the power of just having your helm off, and it's just sleek, it's sharp, it's to the point, it just feels masterfully done and aesthetically badass. I imagine, to be fair, it is the least matching the monster armor in the entirety of the Rise roster so far, but that doesn't stop it looking just fabulous. So obviously, to the female version of it, we're still playing Monster Hunter Thigh Window Edition, which is apparently just how Monster Hunter is now going forward, but it still looks wonderful. I think the chest piece is great, the metal plates leading to the almost like power core chest motif is looking great, the boots are wonderful, the glowing lines, the kneecap lights, because every good armor set needs kneecap lights, even the big claws here, as I said, I don't think are as bad as the male ones, though definitely not something I would want to use, and I could see myself mixing this around with layered armor, and of course the helmet. That is immediately getting helmed off. I don't know why Almudron armor has cat ears, but again, this whole armor just seems so random despite being so cool. At the end of the day, I can't get over digging metal robot glow suit, but it's not too robot-y because honestly, I don't like too much of a robot-y aesthetic. It's just kinda there. I love glowing bits and I love sleek metal, and this is a beautiful combination of glowing bits and sleek metal from a monster that I absolutely adore that is likely to be a fairly endgame-ish monster, so perhaps it will actually have good skills on it, and that's just a bonus, and look, there's just something about it that when I see it, I go, that's the armor set I would wear if I had to commit to one of the armor sets we know about in Rise right now, and therefore takes my number 1 spot. God, I need to see the Great Sword. And can we talk about the goddamn Palamute? Best looking Palamute by a country mile. Look at that thing. Full on like mechanical jaw glow face and just the entire rest of him, the cylindrical leg power discs. Yes, that's what they're officially called. I don't care. Oh, and then the Palico also just looks wonderful! By far the best Palamute and Palico set, and the weapon is a kind of flying hover just slice drone! It's just wonderful! So wonderful! Okay! Let me know what you guys think is your favourite armour from Rise so far, and if you agree with my choices. But until next time, like and enjoyed this, subscribe for more. Please consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until next time, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.